Okay, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Tuesday, February 21st regular Police Commission meeting. I guess I'm asking, do we have any additions or deletions to the minute, or to the agenda?
I have one, sir.
Go ahead.
If we can add, vote for chairperson of police commission for the upcoming year.
Okay, let's add that as item 3 under action items.
Okay.
Anyone else have anything?
I mean,
We have to kind of second it and then just vote.
Well, first one to see if we had any more. Okay, any discussion on the addition?
I move to approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, next item is, can I have a motion to approve the minutes of the February 17th, 2023 regular Police Commission meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Aye.
Any comments or questions? Then, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Moving right along. Excuse me. Next thing would be, we received, or maybe you called me, Jessica, or did I get it? Whatever. We have to approve our meeting schedule once a year and post it. So in your package, you'll see the Township of Groseville Police Commission meeting schedule April through March 24. I don't know if everyone's had a chance to look at it. I don't see anything that jumps out. So can I have a motion to approve the schedule of police commission meetings for the fiscal year, I guess we'll call it, or township year, April 1823 through March 1924?
Motion to approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, there's in front of you also an invoice for Kevlar body armor in the amount of $6,240. Chief, did you want to give us any background on that?
Current policy, we have to provide vests for, it'll be our reserve unit. They were purchased at different times, but the majority of them are gonna be expired. They're good for about 5 years by the warranty by the manufacturer. Deputy Chief Pellin had secured us a grant, and we'll cover a portion of the funding for that. So the overall cost is $6240, but some of that will be taken off because of the grant, so.
Is it 50%?
It's 50% to a certain point. So they don't just guarantee 50% anymore. It's to a certain dollar amount.
Good. At least it's something. Good.
We've had them measured and sized, and once you gentlemen, if you approve it, then it goes to the board because it's over the threshold, and then they approve it, and then we can place the order.
Wes, do you have any comments?
We've already had that, so like Doug said, these expire, we obviously have to have them as far as safety for us being out there and the interaction that we have and what we're involved with as well.
Very good. Anyone up here have any questions of either Wes or Chief or Ken or Jessica? Okey doke. Can I have a motion? to approve the invoice.
Motion to approve the invoice.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, I'd like to skip the third action item until Scott gets here. Can we start the monthly reports?
Department updates?
Well, oh, I'm sorry. I was looking for a subject. Yes, give us the department updates and discussion.
Hello. Just a few things. We already just covered one of them. We have an opportunity for a couple grants. One we just went over for the body armor. Another one is Deputy Chief Pelham put in for the MACP grant to help us support. It's a mini grant to support the accreditation process. So it's $2,900. So every little bit counts. That takes up our cost for the initial application for the process. So it's a good small amount of money, but it helps a lot. And then another one is a couple of months ago the department put in for a COPS grant without the other downriver communities, about 16 communities. They're asking for $750,000 for technology. Groseville will get a portion of that, not $750,000, but we were awarded that, so we'll find out in about a month or two what our portion would be, which can help us to buy. We have to budget for a server and some technology, and the police cars need some dire upgrades, so that would help out a lot too. So hopefully that'll be over 40,000, but we're not sure this time, but that'll be.
What's the name of that grant?
Called the COPS grant. It's a community-oriented policing services. It's a government grant. So, and then, are you gentlemen aware of the FirstNet, the AT&T FirstNet system? Have you guys heard about that at all? So the department conducted a survey in conjunction with the schools, the fire department, and the township, and us. FirstNet is a by AT&T. After 9/11, the U.S. government wanted to create a secondary cell phone system. They put about $4.6 billion into it. So a couple of the downriver cities are picking up on that. It's a different system. So like our cell phones are in this room right now would not pick up that network. It's on a different cellular band, which it has greater strength, but those FirstNet cell phones or computers can pick up our bands. They can pick up both, if that makes any sense, what I'm saying. So we tested those within the schools, township. We took them all around and drove. We have a little chart we made up, and we sent it back to FirstNet. Those phones had the same problems that a lot of our cell phones had, like on Alba and Meso. So they're going to come back and then try to counter and see what they can do to make the system whole, which would increase our cellular system for the police department, fire, first responders, try to get 100% on the island, which is
Problem, the Canadian,
exactly what it is. So Canada can bleed their system into our system, but if we go over their side. So like Gibraltar has it, so when you go to Hickory Island, it actually has we had them test by your house, and they had great service because they were picking up on the Gibraltar towers in this network. So there's still there's a lot of spots where it's not. It'd be a little bit cheaper per month for us to go for the department phones for that, but if the service is the same, there's no benefit in doing it at this point. So
Ask you one
Yeah.
question. Is this service only for like public safety, or what is the program
it's
about?
first responders, and we had them come and do like a presentation to us, and it's there's kind of giving you a general overview. There's 4 bands on it. The first band is for first responders. So if something was to happen, a lot of their towers are backed up by generators, not by a gas generator. So if the network was to go down, and then people that have these phones would be able to get through instantly, or they'd be able to push other people off their own networks. It gets a priority on the phones for first responders versus like when 9/11 happened, all the cell service went down. In theory, if this network would have been in place, the first responders would have had a direct communication line open. Does that make sense? And then the other tiers, are, schools can be part of that, but it's like priority by what the claim is. So Township Hall, DPW they're not first responders, but they have a portion of helping the community in time of emergency, so they can go on that network.
Where does the payment go, to the government then?
We'd be AT&T.
Oh, so it's AT&T through the
AT&T,
government?
it's called AT&T FirstNet, is what it's called.
Yeah, but I mean, it's,
The government bid out, and they got the bid, from my understanding.
gotcha.
I'm not, that part of it, I don't know as much, but they told us it's about $4.6 billion the government shelled out for this network.
did they say what the cost of, say, our department would be, our police and fire?
I think for our department phones that we have, like for admin and stuff, it wouldn't be the entire department, just our current phones. I believe it's $5 a month less per phone if the system worked for us. It works.
You'd have two phones?
No, we'd have like whoever's issued a phone in our department detective bureau, those phones would all be replaced on this network.
No, but oh, so you wouldn't have the regular phone and then this,
My department cell phone with Verizon would go away. I would just port my number into this AT&T network, and then I'd have my.
That's what I'm asking.
Yes,
it takes the place of as opposed to adds to?
correct.
Okay, thank you.
Then they would also go into the car laptops, and they can cascade from
Yeah,
there.
I got you
So.
on that.
And then another benefit is if we ever had like Sam Jam in Woodhaven, if they had a problem, there's part of the network is they have these cell towers that are mobile. They're positioned throughout all the states in the country. So those cell towers, if we had an issue, they can actually bring a mobile cell tower within a certain time period to whatever city's requesting it, and then be able to generate and erect a mobile cell tower. So it's got a lot of benefits, but right now we're talking with them to try to get it. So they gave us 14 phones. All of us took them around to our houses and drove up and down the island. We gave them to Midnights, the schools. They reported back with the data. We gave it to AT&T, and we said this isn't going to work. So they came back to give us another chance. They're going to do their own study and see how they can improve this. See if they are able to improve it for us. So does that make sense? So.
Thank you.
We updated some of the badges in the department. We've had, over the years, we've had a couple officers that had the same badge number. We've taken care of that. Or dispatchers, we all have the same, the department has the same badges. Everybody has different numbers now. So we had those little minor problem we had to fix out that we just noticed about a year ago. And then we're going through the budget talks right now with the township. That's about it for the department updates.
Thank you. Any questions, guys?
Thank you, Doug.
Thanks.
Monthly reports. The packet was sent out to you guys, and you have a hard copy. I'm going to go over some of the pertinent statistics and some of the accomplishments of the department for the month. The vehicle information report that you have was incorrect with the data. I found that this morning. It's been updated, so you have a corrected copy. In essence, there was approximately 2,000 miles that were short. So miles driven were just over 11,000 as opposed to 9,000. We had a total of 630 calls for service in the month of January, which is about par for the month. But 63 of those were for 911 calls of different varieties. 36 traffic citations were issued, and then 72, so twice as many verbal warnings were distributed. A lot of training occurred in the month of January. You have the actual training report, but for discussion, first aid, CPR, domestic violence, pressure point control tactics, de-escalation techniques, OC spray, impaired driving, social media were some of the topics that were covered during the month. We're going to continue heavy training in the month of February because officers can do so in-house, and it saves us some money by having in-house trainers and using the MyTrain application that is put out by the Michigan State Police. The Detective Bureau had 12 cases assigned to them. To note, included 2 suicides that occurred and 1 domestic violence. The detectives also confirmed the residency of our sex offenders on Grosio, make sure that they are where they're supposed to be. Animal control officer fielded 44 animal complaints and received just over $1,900 in donations. Do you guys have any specific questions about the monthly report outside of those? Okay. I'll let Captain Price give you the reserve report.
Good evening. So for the reserve report for January 2023, the reserve hours was 68.5 hours. And then we had cadet hours of 2 hours for the month. For the January events, for January 8th and 15th and throughout the month, we had officers working 1085 details, which entail vacation homes, parks, business checks, traffic details, and road patrol duties as well. We had some training throughout the month where officers completed PPCT training, and defensive tactics, bloodborne pathogen training, and then we also had award ceremonies this year for officers. For Reserve Officer of the Year was myself, Captain Wesley Price. The Oscar Phillips Leadership Award was Officer Kyle Nelson. And then for the Community Service Award, we had Sergeant Christopher Smith. So far for February events, for February 3rd, we had Groseal High School request that we give attention during the cheer competition. So we assisted with that and traffic control. And then so far for the month of February, we've conducted the training for implicit bias training, which was completed online. As far as manpower goes, we are looking at bringing on one officer that's clearing through now through background. Hopefully through the end of this week or beginning of next week, we should have the results back for that, and then we will get her started, which she is a island resident. So we're looking forward to bringing her on board and getting started with one more person. Any questions for the report?
Are we still accepting applications for the people, in case they're wondering?
Yep, if anybody's, wants to put in applications or has anybody interested in becoming a reserve police officer, they can go to the station, see dispatch, and they will provide them with an application and what the requirements
You have them
are.
online, Wes?
We do have them online. If you go to the police department website, go to the reserve page.
Okay.
We also have them there in PDF file as well available.
Thanks.
So, congratulations on Officer of the Year.
Thank you.
Question on the so the new candidate here. This brings you back up to 12, or where does this put us total?
This will bring us back to 8.
Back to 8. 12 is the target number, though, right?
Correct.
We're back to 8.
Yes, we did have one resignation, so we'll have to fill that spot. So
So is 8 with the resignation, or
it will be back to 8 with the resignation.
okay.
Yep. Yeah.
thank you.
Thanks.
How long does that process take?
For a background,
Where they're at now to it clears?
whole process, even for officers, and it can take up to 7 or 8 months, because we're also going to have to do medicals and psych exams, and then the background process can take as long as the information comes in. And then there's an application process. So when they have interviews, not as detailed as for officers, but we're trying to make it similar and on the same parity if we can.
Thanks.
Okay. Any other questions on the reserve? Joey, we're down to liaison report.
Okay, my report tonight actually will be the same as my trustee report at the next board meeting. A couple things to go over just so you as the commission know what we've done. Doug and I met, and there was a request for a couple of items that will help longevity on the Wayne County Bridge. So the first thing is, Doug and I met, I asked him, can you come up with some numbers for our own motor carrier division, if you will, or officers that would go to school and be trained. And what he did is he had a list of the costs. And as you know, we've been working for probably the last 8 months on the police department budget. And we have some issues that we're going to be dealing with, and we have some fixes on how we're gonna fund the next year's budget and the year after. So what he came up with is, the cost of, you have to have a vehicle, which is an SUV. You have to have the scales, you have to have equipment. You have to have one individual out of service while he's doing it. In other words, you have to backfill. At this point in time, Doug's opinion, and I value his opinion, and I not only value, but I accept his numbers, I know are correct. And at this point in time, I'm going to announce that we cannot have a motor carrier department within our department right now. It just cannot be done. The amount of money that it will take to start it up, we just don't have right now. Again, as we know, there is a budget issue. We're working on that. And once we get out of this budget issue, then Doug and I will sit down again and rehash this, possibly if we believe that we can do it. And unfortunately, I really hate to tell the people who grows the list, but it really boils down to money. And if you don't have it, you don't have it, because we have things we obviously have to pay for first. And we have to run this police department. And Doug and Ken have to have a road patrol. They have to have equipment. They have to have training. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. I mean, we know what the budget entails. So just so you know that will not come to fruition. And I wanted the commission to know first before my announcement to the board. The second thing is, I've just started now. I'll be handling the speed limit on the bridge to try and get it lowered and try and get the engineer at least suggested speed back. And I just started the petition. And I'm sorry, but this is going to take a little bit. It'll take a couple months from now. So I'll come back to you and let you know. But those are the two things that were requested, and where we're at on both. And that actually is going to be the same as my trustees report for the next board meeting. So thank you for understanding on both of these. And I mean, if anybody has any comments or anything, please let us know, let me know, or, we can talk about it now, whatever you like. But this is what I think is in the best interest. And I know Doug's interest is in this police department and running it correctly and being fiscally responsible. It just can't happen right now for that separate division. So, thanks.
So, Joe, the speed limit on the bridge, then that's a function of trying to improve the longevity?
Absolutely, yes, that's correct. Trying to get it, I want them to get it down to the actual speed limit. A black and white sign means, the yellow and black is engineer suggested, which means you should do it, but you can't be, held accountable for it. So I'm trying to get that down for the speed and the weight bearing of those trucks. There's an exponential amount of pressure that goes down through the piers for just braking on that bridge. And the faster a truck goes that's weighted, if you notice, they do bounce. And every bounce, Mr. Smoke will tell you, Mr. Smoke was very upfront about he had to have some repairs done after we got this bridge back. And some of the repairs was to the center structure, and it had to be due to the weight on the bridge. And that's why he has, I believe it was, maybe you guys know better, but I think it was a 15-mile-an-hour speed limit escorted across.
For the big,
Wasn't it for the heavy loads? Yeah, it's
Believe
15
so.
miles an hour only. And that seemed to be a reasonable speed where you take away the bounce, take away the pressure, and try to save. And he should be doing that. And
Well,
we should be doing something here for our bridge.
the escort's the only way to, definitively control that speed of the big units.
True.
Because even ourselves, you look down sometimes and you're surprised at the speed you're at, and you wouldn't have thought so.
And Paul, you're exactly correct, but if you notice, if you have a 25-mile speed limit, there's a syndrome, and you go to where the speed is that you feel is safe, believe it or not. And that's how they use that 85th percentile when they change speed limits to roadways. Well, if it's a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit, maybe the trucks might be doing 25, 30, whatever. But if it's a 35 like right now, they might be doing 40
45.
or 45, which the exponential amount of pressure given to a semi-truck is an incredible, it's not a ratio. It's not you go 10 miles an hour more. It's
Exponential.
It's just, it rises so fast. I mean, the number one thing, and I know that Eric, being an engineer in life, knows that weight and speed is a correlation to pressure.
Well, the equation is m equals mv squared.
Yeah.
So mass times velocity squared, so.
Yeah, I mean,
velocity
there
is a big factor there.
is an absolute reality, and I think that we need to do something about it, but I just started, I don't want to get into it, but I just started working on that, and, it'll be, it might be a couple months before I have an update for you, so. Thank you for listening, and if anybody else, if you have anything for me, or you'd like me to check into, if there's anything else that could help the longevity at a police department or at a, enforcement issue, if you will, call me anytime or let me know. And I appreciate the young lady that I spoke to after the township board meeting. And I told her that I got back with her. I explained to her what was going on, and I'll get back to her now and tell her that at least now this other part's now in motion. So thank you.
Good. Anyone have any other questions for Joey? Okay. Scott, we went through the agenda. There was, at the beginning, there was an addition of an action item, which was, Joe, you can tell Scott why you added the,
Oh, I added to the agenda that we have to vote on the chairperson, and Brian sent me an email and asked, could we have this done in February, so instead of March, before the annual meeting. So since you weren't here, guess what?
Yeah, right.
So anyway, I wanted to make a motion to make Paul the chair, if that, and we'll talk about that, but I would like the motion to make Paul the chair for 23, 24. I guess that would be it.
any discussion?
No, I think it's been working great, I think we all know the rest of, well, specifically me, Eric, and Jeff are very strapped for time during the day. And I think it's been the chain of you funneling the information to us as we need, and you being able to meet with the department heads has been great. So I would strongly second that and support it.
Anyone else have any comments?
You're willing to do it, again, I mean, that's what it comes down to.
I guess no one
You
asked
do a great
him, did
job.
they?
My
You know.
wife's
Paul's been voluntold.
doesn't get a vote. What'd you say?
Paul's been voluntold.
Yeah, voluntold, I like that one. Chief, Deputy Chief, you have any comments? I mean, I already know how some of you feel about me, but.
Paul, we love you so much, get your own coffee cup.
All right,
All right.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Did
Aye.
someone second it?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah, Scott did.
Scott second.
I don't want this done illegally, you know what I mean? Then we'll have to come back and do it again for you.
Okay. Public comment,
Aye, everybody aye. Aye.
yeah, they did.
Oh, I
I
missed
thought
it.
you voted.
Aye.
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 We're in. We're good now.
Too late.
You're welcome, Paul.
Thanks.
Anytime.
Hey, Paul.
All right, we don't appear,
About the monthly reports.
pardon?
You gotta approve the monthly reports.
Does it tell me here? I'm missing that.
Just started off.
I don't have a,
Well, I'll move that we,
Line item.
I'll move that we approve the monthly report.
I'll
Second.
second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
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 There being unusually no public comment, I guess we are gonna have a motion to adjourn.
Move that we adjourn this meeting?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Mike?